Hello everyone, today I'm going to be going over what compound interest is and kind of the effects it has as well as how it differs from simple interest. So compound interest is the interest in dollar amounts that is earned on both a principal investment as well as for previous interest payments from invested money. So it can also be in the context of interest that you pay, but in this context, I'm going to go over interest that you receive, such as in investments in stock market. So interest would be the dividend payments in that regard. And another way to look at compound interest is it's the interest gain on interest. And that'll make more sense in the example at the end. But basically, compound interest does result in higher gains than simple interest. And that's due to the compounding effect that compound interest develops over time. So we have an example here. You have $1,000 that you invest in the stock market. And let's say you get 10% annual interest rate or yield in this example. And we're just going to look at a 1-year time frame just to make things simple. So going over first our simple interest, we have the equation of A, which is our final value. So that's what we're going to be solving for. So we want to know our final value equals when we input $1,000 of principal, that's the P, $1,000, and then multiply that by 1 plus RT. RT is the interest rate times time. So R is interest rate, T is time. And that time period is in years. So plugging our different variables into the equation, A equals 1,000 for that, for the principal, times 1 plus 0.1. That 0.1 is derived from the interest rate of 10% times 1 of the time period. And then simplifies down to $1,000 times 1.1. So our final value is $1,100. So that's pretty intuitive because we have $1,000 and 10% of $1,000 is $100. So we just add that back to get our final value as $1,100 after a year. So that's just how simple interest works. Now moving over to compound interest, the equation is a little more complex, but basically we have that same variable A, which is our final value, equals principal again, so $1,000. Then that principal times 1 plus R, which is the interest rate, so 0.1 of that 10%, divided by N. N is our number of compounding periods. So in this equation, I'm just going to do it semi-annually. So basically, we get our interest payment twice a year since it's semi-annual. So that number is 2. So N is 2 here. And then to the power of N times T, so 2 compounding periods times T, which is 1 year again. Simplifying that down, we get $1,000 times 1.05 squared, since it's just 2 times 1. And then we have $1,000 times 1.1025. We finally, after a year of that compounding interest, we have $1,102.50. Now, as you can see, that does differ a little bit from our simple interest. Simple interest, we only got $1,100, and compounding semi-annually, we got $1,102.50. So we got $2.50 gain just from compounding twice instead of simple interest, which compounded 0 times. So this is just an example of how compound interest does give you more money, basically more interest yield when all the variables are the same except for just the compounding difference. And this does have a much greater effect as the years progress. So if we wanted to plug in like a 4 or something, so a 4-year time frame where T would be 4, that would make a much bigger gap between these two numbers than a smaller number like 1. And also, you can choose what your compounding periods are going to be. So I did semi-annually, which is 2. You can also try quarterly, which increases also, which would be 4 in that case. And then monthly would be 12. And you can even push that down to daily if you want. So however many compounding periods you want in that in your time frame, you can put that number in as N, and obviously the higher it is, the more you will get on your compounded interest. So yeah, today I just wanted to go over the difference between compound interest and simple interest, and I hope you guys enjoyed.